welcome to Squad, your favorite source for everything esports and gaming. I'm Camille, and tonight we got a good one because it's Ladies' Night in Unmuted. Marissa and Lisa are giving us their takes on everything we can't stop talking about. Then in Esports in 30, Marissa and Zerk are calling Interro to talk some sweet R6 action. But let's raise the bar and start things off with some sick plays in Plays of the Week.
To the face, and Fake has been able to join the fray. 5 members of G2 trying to push forward, but the minion wave is getting obliterated. Oh! Massive! Manages to steal the Gnaw. Faker turns around. He hijacks G2's chances. Listen to that crowd as SKT turn it around.
Of Generator and busting out now. Unfortunate timing from Necrox as he just turned his attention away. But there goes Necrox, the IQ dispatched of, and now you have to worry about the play downstairs. But Cyber taken care of. Bullet and another one now, going for 3! Bullet lands them all, and that's NVK to fall. It's just Canadian and Young left alive for Evil Geniuses.
Bullet so very dangerous on this Legion. Nitro's still going to come out. It's going to connect with Canadian, but it's not going to be lethal. But I can tell you what is. Bullet, that's a 4K. That's going to be on to Young. Can he collect the ace? All he's got to do is breathe on this Ash, and Bullet all the way.
Yeah, off Cobble's opponent. My man's only ever been like kind of in a polka dot frame right now. Yeah. He only gets jabbed once, and then he's just like, well, I'm not going to let you continue to get any more inks. Oh my, I know all of that wasn't. Oh!
James, please calm down. Cosmos has a family, man.
Matamba Man, knowing that he can't really escape, just tries to do some damage to Jakiro as best he can. CE is also chasing an extra one here, GH, but Matamba Man somehow still staying alive because of all that magic lifesteal.
He's alive still.
He can't actually run away, but
he's
he
1-on-4
and fight. Now he is going to come back in, and with his extra damage, that should be enough. Unless the Echo Slam comes down and lays out, and Centaur's actually dead.
Oh my God, he's going to live.
As well, he's going to live. He's still alive. Still alive.
Wow. Jesus. Oh my God, and people are already cheering for a 4 stock. What a way to start this top 4. Okay. Ooh, you better stay down smash.
And another 4 stock. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah. He's trying to style a little bit. But another shield drop into the platform cancel, and a 4 stock.
So we really just started this with a 4 stock?
Oh my God.
When tried to break them.
And even though Wonder found himself with the first blood, there's actually only a 100 gold difference between the two top laners now. And the gold is actually very even between the two teams as they look for a play onto Perk.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes down. Clit is delivered with Mata into the bottom lane. No flash for Perks. Chain of Corruption's on cooldown as well. And with the Devour, as well as the Void Rush, you see that was such a beautiful setup.
Down him, it's Yuna and Mab all alone outside, but Young all alone on his roster as he's gonna end up picking up 3 kills. Oh my God, what is that? Young quad kill. Who does that?
Pretty much. Because I don't even think we've seen Mars miss a grab in this set.
Not that I can remember right now. I know these last at least 8 grabs have all connected, so 8 for 8, man. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Oh my goodness, Mars!
Bro, I needed to stop taking. I needed to stop going up there.
Yeah, Mars have mercy on his soul.
Find the QE. Nice juke by Cass, but will be hit a little bit. Nice double stun comes in. Ult comes in as well. He's got a lot of a playground to play around with. They find that first stun. They find some damage, but Ignite means he will get the solo kill, the 1v2. And Caps tries it for Jensen. And here comes Mickey. G2 slaughtering Team Liquid.
What Axe ops for? You could just up tilt it with Fox and like beat it every time.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Whoa, this
And he
edge
still
guard
got it.
from Axe.
4 tilt?
Oh my. Yo.
And the spike. Axe though. Yup.
That was insane.
Miracle, and
onto the Monkey King, and the stacks build up. The Monkey King's dead. Sprout holding in Kuro, moving in, maybe has the damage to take down Doom. There's a buyback from Hane. He wants to get back over towards this fight. The Doom's still there, down onto the Medusa. The disarm as well from it to the Man's Halberd. There's a bear! Oh my god! Oh, FY! F-flipping Y! He absolutely smashes them!
Gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, and the spiciest memes. I'm Marissa Roberto.
And I'm Lisa Dwan, and this is how the show's going to work. We're going to present all the goodies we've gathered, in which we will, let's discuss and most likely argue. But luckily for all of us, there is a mute button that we can each use only one time if we want the other person to shut up.
But shout out to chat, because we like it when you call us out when we're wrong and praise us when we're spitting truth. Emphasis on the praise, people. I like it. Our top story is a drama that never seems to end. Tfue versus FaZe. Yesterday was a busy day for both sides of this drama. First, Tfue's contract was allegedly leaked by The Blaze. Then, FaZe Clan alleged that the real reason behind Tfue's lawsuit was that he wanted to form his own esports org. Tfue's brother seemingly confirmed it to Keemstar, stating that his brother wanted to change the face of gaming with his own org. Lisa, this is true. Tfue is starting his own organization. Do you think that does this change your opinion at all about this feud? Is he being deceitful by saying it was a contract thing and this is just about the esports community? Like, what exactly are your thoughts here?
Of course, this is all so muddled. Whose side are we each on? I was kind of more on the neutral side, as everyone likes to think they are. This doesn't really change anything. The fact of what he wants to do with it. You know, I'm sure he has a lot of intentions behind wanting his own contract terminated. Yeah. And so doing this whole thing where like, I want to change the face of gaming, whatever, I don't care. Actually, I saw on social, I think it was Hamlin's on TSM, he posted the perfect reaction to this whole situation. If we can show it at some point, maybe on socials, we'll retweet it or something, but like, he literally was like, no, this is what I think about the whole Tfue situation. He pressed play, and then a song came on, and he was like, I don't give up. I don't give up. That's literally me right now. Like, I don't freaking care. FaZe released the contract. Yes, it's unfair, but that's what happens when you're signing a new nobody, basically, at the time. At this point, let's just let it go. I think we're all done here. Are we over this?
Okay, where my fire comes from, where I get upset is all of the finger pointing and all the people taking sides. Yes, you're right. This is none of our business, but they made it all of our business by putting it on Twitter and airing all this out and making people take sides.
That's the problem.
That's where it's not fair.
Tfue that's his fault. He literally gathered everyone and was like, this is a fight. We have to fight together. Why would he do that?
100. Nobody should have started this. Tfue shouldn't have started it. FaZe Banks definitely should not have made it personal, responding to it at all. He's a businessman. This is supposed to be about business. Keep your personal relationships to yourself and keep it out of it. He literally was tweeting to people saying that like FaZe is good for him, he should stay with FaZe. It's not up to you to decide who should stay with your org. Yes, you gave him a big leg up. You gave him a massive head start because you signed him. That's amazing, but you can't control people. You can't control what they do.
But don't forget the fact that they have, as an org, tried to give him a raise. They've like given him more money as he's grown bigger. So it's not like they're trying to keep him to the contract that they signed years ago.
I would never, if I signed you to my org, I would never think to myself, well, like, I gave her start. She has to stay with me forever now. She owes it to me. That is a messed up relationship mentality. It's up to you.
It's an abusive relationship.
It's abusive. Yes. It's completely abusive. But I want you to soar. I want you to fly. FaZe Banks should feel the same way about Tfue. Even if he started this drama, whatever, be the bigger man. Let him go. Let him soar. If he fails, that's on him, not on you anymore.
All right, there you go. Moving on, one of Dota's biggest players is taking a hardline stance against racism. This week, one of OG's players, Seb, made racist remarks against Russians in a pub game. Seb apologized for the remarks later, but that wasn't enough for Virtus Pro Solo, who is Russian himself. Solo said that he would not be playing in the upcoming Epicenter Major unless Valve addresses the situation and bans Seb. Okay, do you think Valve should step in and impose some sort of punishment? Marissa, this is kind of a big...
It's tough because, like, it's messed up because this is affecting a player, and this is obviously upsetting to him. And so when it comes to anybody's, not even just like integrity, the race, the religion, anything that gets put down in some way, when you're dealing with professionals and you're trying to be professional and dealing with a professional league, this needs to be taken care of and taken care of immediately. It's not okay that we live in a society that still thinks it's okay to discuss certain things and make certain comments even when they're playing online, if it's just like a pub or whatever it is. We can't be this way as humans. We can't be this way in society.
Are defending this because they're like, this is how Dota players talk. It's just the way, like, it's very casual. People say horrible things like that all the time. It's normal, but they know it's all in jest. But is that now in this kind of day and age a good enough defense anymore?
It's not.
Especially since he's a pro. Like, are we really making excuses for him here?
Right, because we have to think about how many kids look up to these guys. How many kids that are just like, this is the way we go online and we're playing these games online and we hear all these terrible things and they're insulting to so many people. Like, we have to be more sensitive, and I know everyone's like talking about snowflakes and how we're all just too sensitive. And you know what? That is the case for some things, for sure. Maybe we are hypersensitive now, but we have to think about others and empathize with others and how these words might actually affect them in their day-to-day.
Here's the thing. Valve has always taken a very, like, they step back, right? They don't try to, exactly. They don't really try to impose much, but now the question is this a situation where they should impose? Because there's been situations in Dota in the past where, you know, a player would say something like of the same lines and Valve would just like fine them, you know, like very loose like punishments, right? Do they need to take a harder stance and punish people for saying racist things
100
in the game?
100. There's a lot of reform that needs to happen here with all this stuff. We just need to make sure that players feel safe, they feel comfortable, and they feel happy. Like, this is, again, supposed to be a professional league. Let's all be professional here. That's it.
I wonder if the team Virtus Pro, like Solo, who's standing up against this, is actually like, did he ask the team, can he not play in the next major? Because this is not just affecting him, right? This affects the whole team. If he's not playing, the team has to find a new replacement. This affects the whole scene. So it's really brave that he is taking it upon himself.
For sure. Because then people are just going to be all over him too. Like, you know that people are adding him, just telling him not to be so sensitive. Like, he's got to deal with all that as well. So for him to be brave and come forward, that says something as well to his character. We got to move on. Over in Rainbow Six Siege, a former Black Dragon analyst is accusing the team of conspiring with FaZe Clan to fix matches. God.
FaZe Clan.
The allegations, which are backed by potential evidence, say that Black Dragon player coordinated with a member of FaZe Clan to throw matches to help each other. Ubisoft has yet to comment on the accusations, though Black Dragon did suspend the accused player. Lisa, what do you think is the appropriate punishment for a match, for this match fixing? And I'm really triggered that FaZe Clan is part of this.
Yeah, once again, they can't seem to stay out of it, can they? I mean, it's good that he's suspended for now because they're still investigating, but once it's, you know, done and it's found true, I think lifetime ban. Like, I think from esports, like from the esports side, you cannot compete and do this kind of thing. This completely ruins the integrity of the sport and cannot be accepted in any way. Because once a cheater, always a cheater, you know, that's the line. But like, this is a thing that you cannot allow to pass. You have to be strict on this one at least.
Yeah, I think this is just like an overall reflection, especially because like FaZe Clan is a part of this, but an overall reflection of the fact that esports is still so young. There's so much growing up that needs to happen. I mean, and we're even talking about an esports bubble here as well, because so many people from the outside are taking advantage of the fact that there's not a lot of reform here. There's not a lot of just things that need to be fixed like this. There's so much of it that, and the fact that we're talking about all of it today, like, there's a lot of drama, of course, like when the weekend comes, like, you know, the drama's gonna roll in. And that's the thing, like, we do love esports because there is so much drama and all this stuff is aired on Twitter and we get to talk about this openly, but there's so much of this stuff that needs to be reformed because we're supposed to be professionals here and we want the world to look at us as professionals in the broadcast side, in the player side, and the org side. We need to just clean it up all around. So yes, I agree with you, Aban.
This brings light on a certain region because this is Latin America, right? So I think this is interesting this is coming out now because obviously Latin America is a smaller region in terms of, you know, many esports, and this really sheds light that in smaller regions there's these things happening and maybe they feel like they can get away with it more because, like, you know, they can sweep it under the rug, not many eyes are on it. So this is kind of shining a light on this region and maybe other regions that are similar that they can't get away with this anymore either. Like, this is the kind of stuff that will be revealed, and this honestly hurts your region at the end of the day. You don't want to be known as a region that cheats at the end of the day, right?
No, absolutely. Like, you can't, you're supposed to be professionals here. Don't cheat, man. Don't freaking cheat. We got, what?
Marissa, simmer. Because there's more drama.
Oh,
ready? All right, Apex Legends players are in revolt over the game's microtransactions. Specifically, how much they cost, because they cost way too much. Fans on the game subreddits are trying to organize a protest against the cost of the game's in-game skins, which have an average cost of $18 US. Those same fans argue that this is one of the reasons why Apex has seen lower revenue, because they're business majors, obviously. In the end, the protest aims to do two things: lower the cost of skins and increase the number of skins available on the market. And I'm sure to increase the quality as well. So this is interesting that, the public itself, finally the players are like gathering together, hosting a protest. Do you think it's going to be successful?
It's tough to say because EA is also attached to this, okay? Yes. So I just feel like for the most part, gamers especially tend to revolt against a publisher that they've already revolted against, right? Because they look for flaws in their system, and that's exactly what they're doing here as well. They've got to make up a lot of money now. Apex and Respawn and EA have to make up a lot of money now for all of this free play that we've all been enjoying for this whole time, right? So they got to make that money now. So they got to sell these skins.
Hold on, are you saying that the players ask for this? Like, if you're asking for free play, this is kind of what you get?
I'm not saying the players ask for it, but I also think that if we're enjoying a premium product, we have to pay, right? So if you want to keep enjoying this premium product, but again, you don't have to buy these skins. It's not something that you need to do, but they need to make up the revenue for the people that aren't buying the skins and are playing for free. So if you're a skin fiend, if you want to be that person, then you gotta pony up. This is their game; they can charge.
I think that's the issue. I think they have money, like players have money that they want to spend. But the skins itself are not good, and they want better skins. That's part of it, right? They want higher quality skins. They're like, guys, put some effort into it. You know, EA and Respawn, like they're not even trying. So this is them venting, and they're frustrated. They want higher quality stuff, which I'm kind of for. Like, you know what? I'm really proud. I don't know if proud's the right word. Happy that people are actually stepping up and
for sure. I love that gamers express their opinions, and I love that a lot of the time developers do hear them. But I understand they get a lot of opinions coming their way constantly, so they have to like kind of manage all of it and realize what is actually best for their company, best for their employees, and then best for their game, which in turn is best for the gamers playing them. So yes, maybe they can improve their skins, absolutely, and that will come with time. But I don't like the raising pitchforks things. It's not really my cup of tea.
It's in our power now.
Okay, it's time to check in with the streamers in Clip It. Okay, our first clip comes from Greek God X, who discovered that he had a very popular fan.
Okay, go to right there, Anthony Grimm's. Cool. That's what I watch. But then it gets a little late. Okay, it gets a little late. It gets like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I bet you Greek's on. I go over to Just Chatting, and guess who I find? A Greek. And I love it. He is...
Oh! Now what? Now what? I don't know what to do! Move it all around. Shroud loves us! Shroud! Move it all around. Jump it all around. Jump and round. Jumping all around. Jumping all around. Jumping all around. Jump and around. Jump it all around. If Shroud loves me, if Shroud loves me, he loves you.
What a perfect response, although he needs better lighting.
I was just gonna say maybe he can now afford some lighting for his stream if Shroud's giving him some love.
He just likes the theater mode for all of us.
That was cute though. Really that's sweet. So sweet that Shroud is giving support. He's done this a lot, right? Giving support to like smaller streamers, and it's really cute, that reaction. I want to know, who would you fangirl over if you caught them either creeping your Twitter or Instagram or Twitch, which you never stream anyways, but whatever.
I think Pokey. I would really fangirl if it were Pokey. Just like, even if she like watched our show and just like enjoyed it a little bit, she did give us a little love.
I was
when we were talking about her, when we were talking about wigs a little bit, she did inspire us.
Last year, I think I tweeted out something about our show and Pokey, and I tagged Pokey, and she actually liked it. I was actually on the toilet when that happened, so it was a big deal. Like, I was like, oh, she posted.
She was in the right location.
Right location for this. I think Pokey would appreciate me saying that, by the way. She seems real.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
100. Yeah, her. Any of the. Of course we want like Shroud, amazing too. Love our good Canadian boy Shroud, but I do love. There's something about women supporting other women that really brings me joy and gives me life, because we're raised to, for some reason, compete with one another and try to best one another and put each other down. So when women do the opposite of that, it really lifts me up. So
I would never. All right, let's move on to the next thing because Ms. Kith tried to enjoy a romantic dinner, and then another romantic interest, Maya Higa, showed up in chat.
Get out of my house.
Have you ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome?
Stockholm Syndrome? No, but I've heard of stockades.
I don't know what that means. But if I'm like nice enough too long enough, then eventually they'll like me.
I don't know if that's worked. I mean, I have some 9-month subs that I want to ban right now.
If you keep drinking wine, then you
Oh, yeah, okay, that's true. If I keep drinking, chat, maybe I could tolerate her. Wait, she's here?
I should go. I should go. It's okay. You know what?
Maya, it's not what it looks like. I was just, this is, Maya, we're taste testing for when you come here. We're just excited that you're gonna show up. That's it.
Eek.
Ooh,
I don't know, it seems like
awkward.
a setup.
I was gonna say it felt a little scripted, but that's still pretty awkward if you think about it. So you're on like a date with someone, and then another person you're seeing pops up and watches it. But why are you streaming it if that's the whole deal? Like, why?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's got to be staged, right? Because even like she knew about it and she kind of like grabbed her plate and was like, "Okay, bye," like one of those. I don't know. It's okay. We've had a lot of miskip though lately, which means he's doing something right, and he has, you know, he's got a lot of pogger things happening, and we're all enjoying.
Is he just not like Tyler 1?
A
Does
little
he not
bit.
just look like Tyler 1 and act
Yeah,
like
a little
Tyler
bit.
1? Do we just love our Tyler 1s? Like, can we get over this kind of stuff?
We just kind of love the meme-y, triggery streamers. I mean, I love them and hate them at the same time because they're so great at what they do, but it's also like, it's a lot of negativity that could be associated with them, so I'd like to stay away from that. Because again, I want this community to just mature, okay? We can do this together, people. It really is the best time of day where we scroll the Twitters to bring you all the things the pros bless us with on their timeline. We especially love it when they remind us that we're all the same. So, Octane tweets, once you move out of your parents' house, getting the mail becomes something I never knew I hated so much. Okay, I feel this, but just to clarify, he definitely means bills and government documents because who doesn't love a nice package in the mail? Am I right, ladies?
What? Marissa?
What?
This is a family show.
What? I love getting packages in the mail.
Then why did you wink so much?
Because I like shopping.
That's true. I like it when you shop too, because she gives me stuff that she doesn't end up wearing.
It's true. I got that. I'm like, this is more Elisa.
This is actually one of hers right there. But that's real talk right there. Like, you know, when you grow up and you have to move away from your parents.
Yeah.
I really felt that recently because I got sick.
I
And
know,
you know,
Mama.
mommy usually cooks you soup.
I know.
But I had to eat out of like a can, you know, I just microwave chicken noodle soup or whatever.
She had to eat. She's also an adult and is perfectly capable of making her own soup from scratch, but she decided not to do that.
Take pity on me, okay? For once.
I don't take pity on you because you could have just taken vitamins like I recommended several times instead of taking drugstore over-the-counter stuff. Okay, thanks.
Okay, this isn't Elisa Rose, so let's move on. Okay. Our next profound thought is from Sir Action Slacks himself, who teaches us all the things video games teach us all.
Yeah.
That was eloquent. All right, he says, they say video games aren't useful, but they really are. For example, I know my wife wants me to do something in order to progress, but I have gone through all the dialogue trees. Then it hit me that maybe I need to do a side quest like doing the dishes, and it will unlock more options later. Smart man, acts of service, achievement unlocked.
That's right, baby. So smart. Again, active service, very important, everybody. Especially like I love it when my man's washes the dishes. I come home and it's just like a clean kitchen. And then you know what? Maybe we can have a little fun later because I'm just excited. But the fact that the kitchen is friggin' clean. This stuff works
Options
every
unlocked,
time.
huh? What options are unlocked?
That's the thing, you unlock dialogue trees within your own relationship. Like do things, think about your significant other, think about the things that they might enjoy you doing with and like surprise them with it. That's so nice. I bet you his wife loved that, gave him a little appreciation.
I'm gonna wink like she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. Okay.
All right, our last profound thought is from recent Melee champ Mango, who reminds us how dang good it feels to be a gangster. I've been drunk for 100 hours straight. Melee community, if you love me, don't ever let me win again. I'm dying over here. Dies.
What are you talking about? I feel like a gangster every day.
Oh, is that right? No, I'm like happy for him, but like legitimately sad for me because I will never know that kind of euphoria.
What do you mean? Like being a pro?
To be a pro and to be top of your game. There's no way I'll ever experience that kind of euphoria. Like imagine winning a tournament, going head to head on a stage at Gama was so lit, the crowd was so hype. How to have all that and no crabs thrown at you? I mean,
that's good. That must feel good. Marissa, you've made top 10 in Tetris before. So like, if you want, we will stand around you and cheer for you and not throw crabs or throw crabs, whatever you want. We'll do it for you. We want you to feel happy.
I want crabs.
You want crabs? Oh, God. All right, let's move on to some crowd control. This is where we showcase some of the great gaming stuff the community has been making or talking about. Are you ready for the next step of realistic graphics? Electronic Arts released this clip showing how its game engine Frostbite is upping its game in the hair animation department.
You know what? That was a little trippy.
Was
First
it?
of all, yeah, the sweeping back kick or whatever we would call that. Was it a windmill kick?
You're an expert.
I don't know. I'm not a master of martial arts. I'm sure Tyler, why haven't you chimed in yet to let me know? Because he is a master of jiu-jitsu, is he not?
Something like that, karate, whatever. I'm ignorant. I'm actually.
He like talks about it all the time.
I was shook.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Okay, I was right.
There you go. I was shook at how amazing the fine quality of that hair.
Yeah.
Like that's the next step for like hair product commercials right there. Because that was beautiful.
I guess hair products in game, like we'll see it now applied to if Activision will take it on, or Rockstar will take it on and apply it to like the RPG version of Grand Theft Auto, and then we'll have like full-on hair commercials, like how shiny like certain shampoos make your hair over others. Yeah, I'm
revolutionary.
I'm all in on this. Looking spice, but also it's kind of rude to like people that don't have that shining lustrous hair.
Yeah.
To have it in game like that, there's unrealistic expectations. Okay, so. Moving on, let's take a look at something else that is equally as cool, but definitely less advanced. Introduced by Reddit user Idea4 Granted, we bring you the next PUBG mobile console.
Ooh.
Hey, no scope? No problem. Now you can get those pan kills without having to squint an eye. Also, these handy tabs make it easy to spam your shots. Your enemies will never see it coming.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, sweet.
I'm sold. You sold it for me.
Oh, let's go.
Get him.
I love this.
That's actually ridiculous. Where did they even find that piece? Where did they even find that?
No, this is just the brilliance of community. Like, you want it, you got it.
Okay, Ariana Grande. I heard that. I was worried about humanity before, but now I'm not anymore. Because obviously we're very resourceful. And when we put our minds to it, we can really get creative.
That's true, but then this is like gonna hurt the competitive scene for PUBG Mobile if somebody has this and then nobody can actually tell that they have
Marissa,
it and then they're going in and competing and it's not fair.
What competitive scene?
There is!
It's not a thing, all right? It's not a thing. I would have muted you if I didn't already use it. All right, it's time to move on to our last post. Remember the good old days of AOL and MSN? You might be too young, who knows? Well, don't fret because we still got Minecraft chat logs. So here's an excerpt from a conversation between Miss Summer Daisy 123 and Spider Dude 1234. Marissa, why don't you help me read this one, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
Please say 1, 2, 3 if you want some of this.
1, 2, 3. Wow.
So, you want to be my boyfriend, Spider Dude 1234?
Mobby.
What?
Nah.
Why?
I'm in an intimate relationship with my PC.
Really?
Yeah, for real, she my bae.
Rip. How was that? That was pretty good.
That
I
was
feel
a
like
great
we could do
theater.
videos.
It's like we do that already for professional reasons or something.
Yeah, no, but like more of that stuff, that's fun.
That was fun? You like that?
Yeah, like
if you guys want to see more of that, let us know in chat because we had a lot of fun there.
We'll do a Patreon like top tier. Marissa and Lisa just talk over internet
Minecraft
things.
logs. Just send us your Minecraft logs and we'll read them in our catfish voice. Well, not mine. That was her catfish voice.
That's more like my anime voice. Like if we could do maybe a little
animated
something.
short?
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. Let's do it.
Goals from us right here. Listen, that is it for Unmuted. Remember, you can always hit us up on our socials just to say hi or send us stuff you want us to react to. Simon, type in !mark socials right now so you know where to find us, and we'll see you next time.
Don't die.
My teammate's over there.
There's a dude right there.
I can't shoot anything.
Throw a grenade.
Throw a grenade. R2. Throw?
Yeah.
Go!
You're pressing one too many buttons.
I don't know how to throw grenades.
The guy just stood to your...
Walk up behind him and start punching. Press
punch. Go, go. Oh, they got it.
You got him. Yo, your
Wait, there's another guy to the right. Go to the
Where?
look, right. That guy. Walk up to him.
Oh, there's his friend.
How do I get behind him? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
I don't know.
The same
One
spot.
left. Right.
I'm about to die.
Yeah, you're good.
Who's
you're
shooting?
totally dead.
He's out of
To the
ammo. He's
left.
gonna punch you.
Oh,
Never mind. Get a shotgun.
Remember, you could show your support to the Green Room and the whole squad by subscribing to our Twitch channel, and you'll even get some sick emotes out of it too. You can see in the back, the FPS duo of Marissa and Zerk are getting ready to talk to Interro all about some sweet R6 action in esports in 30. But first, why don't I get you caught up on everything you need to know in Reported. We're still a few months away from the International 2019, but we already know what the first major of the next Dota season will be. ESL 1 Hamburg will kick off the 2019-2020 Dota Pro Circuit and will be held in late October. This will be the third straight year ESL will hold the tournament and has typically been one of the first tournaments in Dota post-TI. Considering most teams change up the rosters after the biggest tournament of the year, ESL 1 Hamburg is generally a good predictor of which teams will do well in the upcoming season. Tickets have already gone on sale, so be sure to pick some up if you want to see great Dota action. According to a new report, Lucasfilm is currently developing BioWare's classic RPG Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic into a feature film. The script is allegedly being worked on by Leta Kalogridis, who wrote the screenplay for Alita Battle Angel. Released in 2003, Knights of the Old Republic is widely regarded as not only one of the best BioWare games, but the best Star Wars game ever made. Considering Solo disappointed last year, KOTOR might be the shot that Star Wars needs in order to make its spin-off films successful again. I just have one request. Please put HK-47 in the movie because I really want to hear him talk down to meatbags in live action. E3 is getting closer and closer, and we now know what EA has planned for its hit battle royale, Apex Legends. At EA Play, which serves as EA's annual fan event and stream, Respawn will reveal details on the game's Season 2 Battle Pass, unveil new merchandise, and will have developers on hand to meet fans. We knew that Season 2 would be unveiled during E3, but the debut of official Apex Legends merchandise is surprising, especially since some of it will be made by Weta Workshop. EA Play is free to attend if you're in the Los Angeles area, but if you're not able to go, EA will be streaming the event on Twitch for its duration. Mike Tyson is best known for three things: boxing, The Hangover, and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Now he's trying to add esports to that list. Tyson announced on Thursday that he would be investing in Fade to Karma, an esports team that is best known for its Hearthstone players. The team will be constructing a new streaming facility in El Segundo, California, which is the home of Tyson's marijuana company, Tyson Ranch. Tyson said that he got into the esports industry through his son and that he played his first match of Hearthstone on Wednesday, where he played very badly. There's no word yet if any of Fade to Karma's players will have to get face tattoos.
And now it's just Virtue in a 1 versus 3. He will down one. Can he get a second? Yes, he can. Gonna get a third. He needs one more in connector, and he gets it! Virtue, the absolute madman!
Maestro looks the wrong way. Will be able to win the fight. No, Gio does. This will prompt Dan to have to do double duty. And NBK will watch as Gio goes for the plant. The sound cue will give Dan the information. Oh, he takes one down!
Oh!
And a new empire will rise as you crown a new champion here in Milan.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Esports in 30. Today is Friday, which means it's our turn to turn our sights to FPS Zurich. Not only are we talking R6 today, but you and I decided to match. We didn't discuss this.
We didn't
just showed
plan
up
it.
this
There
way.
were no emails. There's no proof whatsoever.
No Slack,
Yes.
no DMs. It's just happening, and so is our sixth friend. So let's talk about what just happened last weekend and your overall views before we get to our guest.
It's just my boy Canadian couldn't push it. EG almost was so close. One more round, literally one round to win it all, and Team Empire just kept shutting them down every single time. But we still had a very exciting finals, obviously. But it was so physically painful to watch them just get that close again for like, I don't know, the 4th or 5th time now.
It's okay, Zerk. I'm sure you had the medicine. Listen, I'm so hyped to talk R6 as I said the finals. We're hyped. We've got our amazing friend Parker and Tara Mackay joining us on the line in just 1 second. But why don't we relive the action in Milan with some highlights?
It's Yuna and Mav all alone outside, but Young all alone on his roster as he's going to end up picking up 3 kills. Oh my God, what is that? Young quad kill. Who does that?
And now it's just Virtue in a 1 versus 3. He will down 1. Can he get a second? Yes, he can. Can he get a third? He needs 1 more in connector, and he gets it! Virtue, the absolute madman!
Generator and busting out now. Unfortunate timing from Necrox as he just turned his attention away. Cyber taking care of Bullet, and another one now going for 3. Bullet lands them all, and that's NVK to fall.
Nitro's not going to come out. It's going to connect with Canadian, but it's not going to be lethal. But I can tell you what is. Bullet, that's a 4K. That's going to be onto Young. Can he collect the ace? All he's got to do is breathe on this Ash, and Bullet all the way for the first round for Immortals on Oregon.
Fnatic are so committed with Rizraz up top, Magnet down below. He finds 1. He's still got a C4. Rizraz here as well, trying to pick away with the SMG-11. Sees the elbow for just a second, fearing a possible push from the side. Magnet will toss up a C4, finds Papilia. And Fnatic are bailing themselves out of trouble. Rizraz gets 1 as well. A second push! Oh my goodness!
Seems to be that they want to try and go for a possible Ash rush here. Is Canadian's going to go in the back slot? Nobody even knows what's happening. Is Canadian going to get this free headshot? He finds 1. He finds 2. Oh my goodness, almost gets 3. It's all lift up to Cyber coming up the main stairs, and I don't think he's got an answer for this. We'll see exactly what he can answer with. Flick's going out, but I don't think he's going to have too much to answer with. That R4C by his side. Has to whip out the pistol. He's going to find Young. Can he possibly find Canadian playing inside of Kids? Oh my God, he's going to. It's all left up to Geo Cyber. The absolute prophet, but no, Geo finally.
Here we have it. This is because of the fact that you can't be going with the same speed at all times. You can't be going 100 no matter what. Oh! Magnet goes fishing and he lands Dan quite well. Will he be able to secure the kill? He sees the Tracers go. No! Scyther will win the fight. He'll inch his way on up. Geo's going to be next in line, but this could be a tough shot, and Empire could wrestle away the round. There's Geo just waiting. He doesn't pull the trigger. He sees it. He pops up. Oh no, Geo, you got to hit your shots. Young will be the last one left. He was so important for FaZe. He turns his back. He's got the pistol, but Shepard. The Maestro looks the wrong way. Will be able to win the fight. No, Geo does. This will prompt Dan to have to do double duty, and NVK will watch as Geo goes for the plant. The sound cue will give Dan the information. Oh, he takes 1 down, and a new Empire will rise as you crown a new champion here in Milan.
It was a tournament full of clutches, insane plays, triumph and heartbreak, and at the end of it all, it was a new Empire that was formed. Joining us to break down all of that and so much more, please welcome Interro back to the show. What is going on?
Hello, how are you?
I mean, we're excellent. So happy to have you, looking dapper as per usual. Let's talk about EG's chokes here, because there was like a big time throw in map 2 of grand finals. Otherwise, they played really well, but another heartbreaking performance. Can you walk us through EG's performance at this tournament and the absolute collapse during map 2?
Immortals was, I think, a little bit closer than I had expected over those 2 maps. FaZe, after they escaped the quarterfinals, I thought actually had a good opportunity to go to the finals, but they fell to EG in the semis. And at least what I saw was EG have this inability to close out games when there's a lot of pressure on them. This is the 5th time that they've finished 2nd, if I remember correctly. If you go back and you look at the Invitational 2018, the Paris Major, DreamHack, and I'm trying to remember the other one. And it's just like, it's crazy when you really think about it, because they keep falling short every single time. And there's just something they're going to have to do. Maybe it's mental, I don't know, to get over that hump.
Do you think how long will we have to wait for them to finally win a big LAN title? Because it seems like they're always so close, as you said, and yet so far. So yeah, how much longer will we have to wait for them to finally win, or will they, you know, this constant heartbreaks eventually just destroy EG before they even get there?
I honestly don't really know. I don't know what's going on with that team. I don't know if it's turmoil. I don't know if it's pressure and expectations. I don't know if it's emotions. I'm not entirely sure of why it keeps happening, but EG's been a team that's been on the precipice for quite a while of being able to win it all, and then they just always fall short. So something needs to change at some point, because you can't keep going into tournaments finishing second and then, you know, that's it.
Right.
This matchup in particular, it's just, you know, we saw in that second map, they got really, really close. They sat on match point for what, 3 rounds it was?
Yeah, so close.
Yeah, and they threw it all away. And there were a couple rounds where I honestly think it wasn't necessarily so much Empire playing well. Empire did play well, sure. But I think more of it was just Evil Geniuses kind of tossed it away, especially 2 rounds. And those mistakes ended up killing them.
I mean, sadly, because if you ain't first, you're last. So let's talk about the first place, shall we? Because Empire wins it, as you just mentioned. Incredible journey from Challenger to Champions. We talked about it last time, but how is this finals win the culmination for Empire and their journey from Challenger to Champions at the Pro League?
It's been really remarkable to watch them basically come out of nowhere. They were Room Factory back at the Invitational in 2018, and then since then they've just really excelled. And I don't really understand how they've been able to get so good so fast. They dropped Shockwave, they picked up Dan. I think there was some skepticism because Dan was largely unproven. He'd played for a bunch of smaller, you know, amateur level teams. He'd never really shown up on a big stage. By far and away, one of the least experienced professional players at the entire event. And he flourished. You know, he was awarded MVP by Siege GG. I think he brought a lot of fragging power and flexibility to that team. And honestly, it's really remarkable to watch Team Empire play because they don't really heavily counter-strap. There's not a lot of flexibility on that team when it comes to strategies and operator roles. They kind of just do the same thing over and over and over again, but they excel at it. And they beat you even when you know where they're coming from, or even where you know they're coming from, even when you know what they're going to be running with. They still manage to beat you in almost every single fight. A lot of that is a testament to their personal skill, but the team is very well coordinated and it shows.
Yeah, I mean, they were so close. I mean, sorry, EG was so close to taking them.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do it. It was so heartbreaking. Yeah. How do you think Empire's success will impact not just the landscape of Europe, but the entire CIS R6 scene in general?
The CIS R6 scene is very interesting because it doesn't really exist right now. It's, you know, it's been fun to watch because there's a lot of Russian talent. There's a lot of Ukrainian talent. You know, we've got some Kazakhstani talent too, if I remember correctly. You've got teams like a Vanger, which is a massive organization that, you know, has a team that's not even in Challenger League. You know, you have Forza as well, which is where Shockwave from Empire went to. I think the whole region is going to continue to grow. What we tend to find is that when a team does really well regionally, it inspires people and their fans to compete as well, right? Yeah. So you see this you saw this in Brazil, you see this to a certain extent in the APAC regions as well. I have no doubt that Empire excelling is going to bring about more Russian talent, more CIS talent, etc. Yeah. How does it change the landscape in Europe? Good question. But I honestly think the real question that needs to be asked doesn't involve Empire, it involves G2. Because for me, G2 is still the best team in the world. And they haven't lost that title. They didn't relinquish it just because they didn't compete in Milan. It's still theirs. The real test is going to be, can Empire consistently beat G2? If they can, then we see a completely different landscape in Europe. But right now, we don't really know. So we can speculate as much as we want. Empire's a damn good team. And all of Europe is going to be consistently getting more competitive. But G2 is going to be the real focus in the wild card because they had some stumbles outside of the Invitational this year. If that keeps up, then it can end up being a problem.
You mentioned the APAC region, and APAC region absolutely like region kill in round 1, of course, as always, insanely close between Fnatic and Norarango. Can you actually explain the dynamic between Fnatic and Norarango and how their rivalry has actually shaped the APAC region?
I mean, if you go back all the way to when APAC's first, you know, opportunity on LAN came about, which was Sao Paulo in Season 6, which was actually my first LAN that I ever casted. The two teams that represented APAC were the team that is now Cloud9 and the team that is now Fave Gaming. And Since then, it's been Norengo and Fnatic representing the region at every single LAN. They've been so consistent, they've been so good, and I think it's because they've assembled pretty much the top talent in their regions. You know, I would struggle to find somebody in ANZ who individually is better than any of the 5 players on Fnatic. And even if you do find somebody who is statistically better, I don't know how they do being added to the team in comparison to the roster that Fnatic has right now. It's very similar to G2. For a while, G2 had like the best European talent all on one squad. So not only do you have a really well-coordinated team, but statistically and individually, you have, you know, the 5 best players. Similar with Norengo as well in Japan. But Japan tends to be a bit deeper when it comes to talent in the region. You know, Waka stepped off the team and they picked up Yoshingo, which is huge because statistically he was one of the best players in the whole region. And he came on and he made a massive impact, and you saw him basically take over that second map against Fnatic on Clubhouse, really showing his prowess and why they decided to pick him up. I think the fact that they're succeeding is somewhat inspirational to the region, because you have a high watermark to, you know, to essentially try to gauge yourself on, to see yourself against and to compete against. And having really talented teams that have lots of international competition does tend to trickle down, because it makes your opponents get better because they have a lot of practice playing against you. As for the rivalry, because I know I gave you kind of a longer-winded answer there. As for the rivalry, I think they met 6 times now, 7 times. I'd have to get my notebook out to exactly tell you what the number is. But Fnatic has had the upper hand in most of them. And if Waka's on that team in Milan, I don't know if Fnatic wins it. But with the addition of Virtue, Fnatic has just gotten continuously better. And if this team can get, you know, through the shakes and the nervousness, very similar to what EG does, they do tend to choke under pressure. I think this is a squad that could conceivably win it all if another team has a bad LAN performance.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. Let's continue our international survey, but moving over to the LATAM region. Break down the performances of both FaZe Clan and Immortals and how the region looks to be shaking up heading into the back half of the year.
Immortals are a team that have really grown an awful lot. You know, that team for the longest time with Navi's and Cyber on it has been really top heavy. I think adding Bullet to that roster really helped them out and gave them a little bit more depth. And then, you know, having PX and M King as well. They're support players. They're not going to set the world on fire, but they're dependable, and that's what Navi's and Cyber need. And whenever you watch them play against EG, if Navi's or Cyber were in a 1v2, a 1v3, a 1v4, you can never count that team out, because they're good enough mechanically to be able to carry their team through a 1vx situation. I still think they might need a roster change or two if they really want to be one of the best teams in the entire region outside of their region. Brazil tends to have this really specific meta within their own borders that is very aggressive, but gets countered quite hard on an international stage, which is why Latin America hasn't really seen the most success over the last, 8 months in comparison to Europe or even some North American teams. When you look at FaZe Clan, I see probably right now the best team in Brazil. I know that they just barely edged out Immortals for that #1 record, but adding Ion to that team and the changes that they've made, it's made them exceptionally strong. But with FaZe Clan, temperament's always been a big issue. You know, going back and looking at previous iterations of this roster, they've always been plagued by infighting. They've always been plagued by high emotions and almost anger with one another, which we kind of saw spill over onto Team Liquid as well at the Invitational earlier this year. And that kind of personnel clashing really kneecaps your chances of going far into any tournament and possibly winning it all.
Dang, it's like the players are like a direct reflection of their owners. That was a little salt on FaZe Banks. BT Dubs, just to sip a little tea on that for 1 second, but I do want to take a bit of a broader look. Whenever we get an international LAN in any esport, it's always fun to compare regional playstyles. So are there any major differences you see between the 4 regions gameplay-wise, and how do those styles actually interact at a LAN like this?
I would say probably the most methodical and well-stratted region tends to be Europe. They're very talented individually and mechanically, and they're aggressive in different ways, but they're also probably the most calculated. When you look at Latin America, their strats are not as deep. They rely really heavily on having probably the best mechanical aim and reactions of any region in the game. You know, it's brutally hard to be able to outgun somebody playing on a Latin America team, because even their worst players statistically have just absolutely extraordinary aim. And they play so aggressively and are well coordinated on that aggressiveness that if you're not used to playing Brazilian teams, then you find yourself in a position where you're just getting overrun and it feels like they're everywhere all at the same time. North America tends to be a good mix of both of them, but unfortunately for NA over the last couple months, last year or so, it's been kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none situation. They haven't really shown that they're capable of being the best region in North America because they're just, they're going to get outstratted by Europe and they're going to get outgunned by Brazil in a lot of cases. But then you have a team like EG, who, to the best of my knowledge, has never lost to a Latin America team ever. So they counter that quite well. That leaves APAC as the last region, and APAC is very odd because they don't get a ton of international competition. Their meta is extremely strange in comparison to everywhere else. A lot of people say it's outdated. Some of the teams in APAC absolutely run strategies that we haven't seen in like a year or so because they don't really work all that well. But because nobody's practicing them, and because they're from a year ago, they can catch you off guard. When you look at Norarengo and Fnatic as like the two golden standards from the region, they're exceedingly aggressive. They have incredible mechanical aim. They're kind of like North America as well, but I would say that overall their strats are a little bit weaker than NA's maybe, and their aim is a little bit higher, which kind of puts them in between Latin America and North America, but it's hard to plot them all like on a graph as to where they'd be.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's the best part about the R6, I think, because it seems like it's very unique in that every one of its regions is very competitive, unlike the other games. There's not as much difference, I guess.
Salt on other games.
Yeah, but how does that play into the potential of this esports in the long term?
I mean, I think that if we see the amount of live events continue to increase as they have over the last couple years, if we keep seeing nationals and regional competition increase too, there's a lot of national programs that are coming up. We had the Canadian Nationals, for example, that you might be quite familiar with. Now we have the U.S. Nationals. It looks like there's a Spanish Nationals as well, if I remember correctly. There's like a Mexican Nationals. The more of them that pop up, the more competition that teams are going to have on LAN, the more competition that they're going to have playing against teams that are in their region and maybe outside of their region as well, because we have the 4 minors. The Allied Esports Vegas minors coming up, and it's got teams from every region competing. The more international experience you get, the less defined the regional metas will be, and you'll kind of just move to like an international meta where it's like you counter-strat the teams and you play to your own team strengths rather than having to build a roster around, what your opponents within your country or your continent are going to play. But I mean, we're still quite a ways out. We're only having like maybe like a dozen significant LAN events a year when you count the national programs. And in comparison to other esports, there's still development to be done to get us to a point where, international teams are always playing each other. But we're marching towards that. And as we can see, there's a lot greater parity between the regions now because of it.
I do want to take a step back here and look at just some more general stuff because Ubisoft has revealed 2 new awesome operators.
So exciting.
So we want to get your take on them. Warden and Nook. Are we saying Nook? It's Nook.
Nook is, I think, the way that they have intended her to be pronounced. Nook.
Okay,
I mean, I don't
just
speak
rude.
Danish, so I have no...
Yeah, it's the Brigette of R6.
Of R6,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I thought it was Brigitte.
See, exactly.
I think Kaid actually has that because, Milos says that it's Kaed, and then everybody calls him Cade, and then Ubisoft wants us to call him Kaid. So
Okay. I guess we have to go with whatever rolls off the tongue the best. But how are you feeling about these new operators?
I think Kaid is fine, but I think Cade is obviously the fastest to pronounce. Nook is pretty easy, and it sounds fine. Most North Americans know that word. I've never pronounced the circle with the slash through it or the O with the slash through it, so I don't know. They're good. I think they're entering at a very interesting place. I don't know how immediately impactful they will be. The fact that they got all of their weapons recycled has kind of bummed some people out, but I think it works well to balance them, and also they're using weapons that don't see a huge amount of play necessarily, so it's good to actually, see those weapons get used finally. The FMG comes to mind that Nook is using. It's Smoke's primary SMG, but you're a lunatic if you're not running a shotgun, right? So I mean, you just never see anybody use it. But no, I don't know what immediate impact they'll have. I suspect that Warden won't be that impactful outside of like super high level scrims and dedicated flash or smoke plants, because I mean, he's a 3 armor, he's slow, he's got an MPX, it's not exactly a sexy weapon to use. against the chaos that is like ranked and casual gameplay and non-competitive, I would expect that his pick rate is probably going to be very low.
Okay.
In Pro League, he might be situational, but I don't think he's an operator that's going to fit every single mold. I see him more along the lines of like maybe a Castle, where he's coming out for specific reasons. Nook is a little bit more interesting because there's a great divide as to whether or not she's too powerful or whether she's too underwhelming. And there have been a lot of clips that have been shared on social media of her engaging her ability, and then, you know, when she crouch walks, she's completely silent, and she's also completely invisible. And you can just kind of slink past all the different cameras and gadgets that are designed to catch you. And in some cases, you know, you'll set up a defense with either a Valkyrie camera, a bulletproof camera, Echo's Yokai, or Maestro's Evil Eye Cam, and you'll sit there kind of in the open, but you have coverage with your cameras to see if you're getting pushed. She completely negates that, and she can walk right past it without being detected and kill you for free. I think it will change up ranked quite a bit. I think she will thrive just like Kavera does, and Vigil does to a certain extent, in ranked and casual gameplay. But I think there will be harder counters that are going to be brought for her in Pro League, so I don't exactly know how much usage she's going to have at the top level.
As a caster, though, are you happy with the addition of more operators, or would you like it to just kind of stay where it's at? Because some of them seem to be shifting the meta slightly, and that also shifts gameplay, which shifts the way you guys call a game. Like,
a lot of shifting.
Yeah, it's just a lot of moving around. Do you like the shuffling, or do you want to just keep the operators as is?
I mean, from a competitive perspective, new content is usually tough because then you have to factor it into how does it work within the meta, how does it work for team strats, that kind of thing. It brings excitement and it forces change, and I think that there's a pretty compelling argument that you shouldn't be deliberately, you know, blowing up your meta every X amount of months for, you know, quote unquote excitement reasons. Whereas I see it more as I'm excited by new content because I'm a fan of the game. I think it's great for the casual scene, and I honestly think it's good for the pro scene too, because you do tend to get a bit of a stale meta. I do miss the mid-season reinforcements. I know why they stopped doing them, because you didn't want to completely revamp an operator in the middle of a Pro League season or right before a Pro League finals and then have teams have to adjust with that. I get it. I think it's a very good decision that they made, but I wish they more aggressively tuned some of these operators in addition to putting out new content. They're going in the right direction. The change to Glaz that we saw is excellent. The recent changes to Ying as well were great. They keep saying that they're looking at making shields less frustrating to play against. I think that's an excellent addition as well. So almost everything they're doing for a competitive sense, Ubisoft at least, is pushing the game in the right direction. And new operators are cool as long as they're not coming out like some of the more broken operators like Lion, like Ella, like Blackbeard, like Maverick to a certain extent. And as long as they tweak them quickly, then I'm fine with new content.
It sounds like I'm going to start to main Nook now in ranked, according to Interro.
She's good, man. She's a lot of good in ranked. Amidst the chaos of teammates never talking, she's pretty good.
Yeah, take advantage of those solo queue heroes.
Sneaky.
Yeah. Another thing that you said on Twitter was that you wanted to push yourself more than ever at this event. Did you feel your casting performance hit that next level in Milan? And what's your personal goal moving forward in 2019?
Sometime around the end of last year, I discovered that I was really unhappy with a lot of my casting. I try to do VOD review as much as I can, not just for teams, but also for myself. And, you know, if I'm unhappy after a match, I'll usually make a note of it and I'll go back and I'll rewatch it and try to pinpoint exactly why I didn't like it. Maybe it was my energy levels. Maybe it's the way that I kind of got lost a couple rounds. You know, it really depends on why I didn't end up liking it. And I made a concerted effort after the Invitational to basically be like, I want to make some significant changes. I did some soft changes before the Invitational, but I didn't want to blow up my casting because it's the biggest event of the year. But I had an opportunity through this second half of Season 9, especially when Milos and Kix were gone, because I casted with my boy, Flynn, quite a bit.
Your boy, yep.
And I had like 5 or 6 days with him, and I said to myself, like, I'm going to try to iron out all these issues while I can. And it was a lot of work. I'm still pushing myself as best I can. I think that from an event perspective, I have never been happier leaving an event with my own performance than Milan.
Oh,
I mean, there's still drawbacks to my casting, you know, and it's something where it's like, I'm not somebody who comes from a broadcasting background. Like, sure, you know, I did like Model United Nations and debate club and stuff like that, like in high school and university. And I did actually have some training from that perspective, which was helpful, but I have no formal training when it comes to broadcasting. So I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants. And I watch a lot of real sports, so I like to think I know like what the casters sound like and all that jazz. But it's something where it's trying to word it correctly.
I feel like, Parker, you are being far too hard on yourself. Like, way too hard on yourself. Like, I just feel like the community loves you so much.
He's amazing.
You're such a
You're
staple.
amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Even on Twitter, like, you're such a G. Everybody loves you. You get so many likes, so many RTs. You really know how to play to your audience as well. So with that, though, yes, my friend, we just have one more thing we just wanted to bring up. In case people didn't see it, on your Instagram or Twitter, we wanted to show off this amazing picture you shared from 11 years ago. So, Parker, why don't you just dress yourself down here? First of all, what's with the Rogan look, friend? Did you even know it was going to be poppin'?
I think I was 17 in that photo, so that would have been 2007. Seth Rogen was quite, you know, it rose into prominence before then. I don't know. My hair is naturally like really poofy. Like, look at this. I actually have this right in front of me. If you want to see it, like, look at this. This is me when I was 13 years old.
That's
like,
amazing.
For crying out loud. Like, that's what my hair does. And it's naturally really poofy and really curly. And I had mutton chops and I had sideburns at some point, you know, because I really wanted to grow a beard, but I couldn't at the time. I still barely can.
It just kind of feels like he was born in the wrong era.
Yeah.
I don't know. My parents let me leave the house like that, which is like the most astounding part of it, is that they were like, "You sure you don't want a haircut? Like, you sure? You should probably get a haircut." But no, you know, people call it a glow up, etc. But it's like, I look back on a lot of those older photos and I laugh, but at the same time, like, I make fun of myself quite often.
I think
and
you
looking
have
like
to.
that, it's kind of like it shields you from crcriticism, right? Like, look at what I look like.
Oh my gosh,
You
of
can't make
course.
fun of me 'cause I looked like this, you know?
I'm immune.
We're going to let you go here, but quickly, can you just explain the eggplant emoji and why your community has now tagged you as that exact emoji, and why, like, if somebody puts that emoji down, they know they're talking about Interro. Like, it's insane.
So this is just to go back and give you a bit of a background story. When we were in Rio de Janeiro last year for the Season 8 finals, I was out for dinner with Zoronic, the analyst, and UB Justin, who used to do the panels up until very recently, and one of the community developers / community managers for our game. And we were talking about Rainbow Six Twitter and how it's actually insane how Rainbow Six Twitter just, it kills it when it comes to metrics and impressions. Like, you'll see, like, after certain other esports matches, you know, like their stars will tweet things and get very minimal traction. And it's outside of a couple really big figures, like, most of the people in the scene get like nothing. But in Rainbow Six, it's like in the midst of like a big LAN, the most, you know, poorly well-known or not well-known person can literally tweet something and it just soars on likes and impressions. It's crazy. And I said, like, you know, I made a joke and I said, you know, somebody could tweet an eggplant emoji and probably get 200-300 likes. and then they're just like, do it. And I said, okay, so I did it. And next thing you know, like, half the community is spreading eggplants around. And
But now it's like you've got this tall order to live up to in Interro.
I know. So we got really bored a couple weeks ago, like right before Milan, and I was talking to another friend about the whole eggplant thing, and he's like, you should do it again and see how it grows this time. So I was like, okay. And I messaged a couple people and I was like, yo, post eggplants with me. And it just took off.
Interro, I can't with your phrasing. Like, this is actually supposed to be a G-rated show at this point. So I'm just gonna like see how it grows in particular. I'm just gonna shut her down. Thank you so much for joining us, Interro. We really appreciate the time, and thank you so much for enlightening us with R6 and eggplants and your hair.
I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so if Interro is eggplant, what is Zurich?
I want to be a mango.
You want to be a mango?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already wearing the color, so that's why.
All right. Okay. That's
I don't have to change outfits.
It's also, you know, kind of tropical.
Yeah.
You're a little tropical. What did you call yourself? Did you say you were a jungle?
A jungle Asian.
Yeah,
no, I'm an ocean Asian.
You're an ocean Asian, and Lisa is jungle.
Yeah.
We can discuss this later.
Yep.
Listen, let's talk about a new app that is related to mobile. Okay, obviously, so My Field and also PUBG. So let's talk about it, because Free Fire is honestly quickly becoming huge.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lighter version of PUBG. It runs in a lot of phones, which means it's more accessible. Obviously, it's free. You can download it with your app. The issue that I have with this game is every single sound file that they have is literally from PUBG. Like the footsteps sounds exactly the same. The guns, the reloads. It's just they copy and pasted the sound files from PUBG and they put it in this new phone. But it is kind of good because then, you know, there are more players. There might be, again, an esports scene. These battle royales just keep popping in and out all over our mobile. So
yeah, so what's wrong with that?
Nothing is wrong with that. I didn't say anything was wrong with that, Marissa.
I feel like a little bit of salt. It's brewing, but you're gonna try it this weekend?
I don't know.
I just downloaded it. I'm gonna play.
Okay.
Why don't we just jump in?
Yeah, duo queue. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Listen, Zurich, we've got to holster this conversation for another day, friend, because, well, we're out of time. Thank you to Interro, as always, for calling in, and thank you, fine people at home, for tuning in. Next week, we've got 5 days of dope shows heading your way, but until then, enjoy your weekend. See you later.
My favorite part about the Season 9 finals is definitely Kazoka's reaction when they announced that Season 10 will take place in Japan. I mean, it made me hungry for some ramen sushi. Sushi ramen! I just love it. Remember, we are back here on Monday starting at 1 p.m. Eastern with gameplay live from the Green Room. Then again at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have more Unmuted. And in Esports at 30, Matt and Lisa are talking league. Till then, you can tune into our socials at Squad. Stay in, check out our YouTube channel for all the VODs in case you missed anything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.